Here's your wrestling news for January 20th, 2023, and we're kicking off today with WWE, which has seen many changes over the past month or so, with a few shocking surprises. Now, Devon Dudley's name joins ex-WWE VIP of Communications Adam Hopkins and former CEO Stephanie McMahon on the list of people who left Vince McMahon's company. After stepping away from the ring, Devon spent years as a producer in which he had some issues with his health, and it was via a tweet that he confirmed his departure. Among the names thanked, Devon mentioned Vince McMahon, Triple H, and Jesus Christ, and is excited to see where he goes next in his life and career. Fans will know Devon for his teaming with Bubba Ray in ECW and WWE, and the duo later made an impact in TNA Wrestling and in Ring of Honor. On Twitter, the now Bully Ray tweeted some emojis showing his interest in Devon's departure, and Devon responded saying, "Oh my brother, testify." Given how long Devon was with the company, there were plenty of reactions from WWE superstars, with Angel Garza calling him a great coach and friend. NXT's Zoe Stark thanked Devon for everything he'd done for her, a sentiment shared by Fallon Henley, while ex-WWE tag team The Bollywood Boys said that they always appreciated working with him. Devon's last match came in 2018, but he's remained active in the wrestling world as a producer, and we'll have to wait and see what's next for the WWE and Impact Hall of Famer. Vince McMahon made headlines back in June 2022 for all the wrong reasons after it was revealed that he secretly paid $3 million in a hush money scandal. It was all downhill for McMahon, as he was eventually forced to retire from the company he helped build. Of course, McMahon made his way back into the news later on after a couple of other allegations resurfaced. Now it seems McMahon has agreed to a multi-million-dollar settlement with his accuser Rita Chatterton. As previously reported, Vince McMahon was accused of sexual assault by the former WWE referee Rita Chatterton, who accused him of the act back in 1992. Things did not just end there either. In November 2022, McMahon's attorney received a letter from Chatterton in which she demanded $11.75 million in compensation for the alleged assault after her allegations were brought back to the public's attention in 2022. According to a report by the Wall Street Journal, Vince McMahon has agreed to a multi-million-dollar settlement with Rita Chatterton. It was further reported that while Chatterton did accept a sum lower than her initial demand, the exact amount she agreed to was undisclosed. In a statement given to the Wall Street Journal, McMahon's attorney Jerry McDevitt reiterated McMahon's denial of the rape allegations and stated that the settlement was made to avoid the cost of litigation. On the other hand, Chatterton's attorney John Clune chose not to comment on the matter. Vince McMahon regained control of the company's board of directors as the executive chairman of WWE after Stephanie McMahon's resignation. Now he plans on taking over the company once again and likely selling it to the highest bidder. Many fans also believe McMahon is a very petty and vindictive person, which resulted in his comeback. While speaking on the Wrestling Time Machine, Bill Apter talked about McMahon returning to WWE. Apter stated that he believes McMahon was plotting revenge during his retirement. "I hate to say this, but his rest is plotting revenge. Really, that's him. I want to take the time machine back to what I've seen in him. I have known him since the late 70s when I used to see him backstage at the WWF president Willie Glinzenberg and Vince McMahon Sr., his dad. You could always see him looking for angles. And I don't only mean wrestling angles, business angles to do something." It's not hard to ignore what Apter is saying here, as Vince McMahon is indeed a control freak and indeed must have fooled the wrestling world by announcing his fake retirement. Last year was an incredibly difficult one for WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash, whose best friend Scott Hall died in March. In October, Nash experienced the worst feeling a parent can have, as his 26-year-old son Tristan died of cardiac arrest, and recent comments by Nash had everyone concerned. On a recent episode of his Click This podcast, Nash reflected on the death of his son and alluded to taking his own life. "Today is week 12 that I lost my boy. Time flies when you've got a gun in your mouth. I mean, time flies when you're having fun," said Nash. His co-host Shawn Oliver then interjected to say, "Don't play like that, you have guns, so you can't say those things." Oliver and listeners were incredibly concerned, as were the police, as TMZ reports that Volusia County Sheriff's Office deputies reached out to Nash after these comments were made. It has since been reported that Nash is doing okay and has no intention of harming himself in any way, which did lead to a backlash from some fans online. Once it was confirmed that Nash was okay, some fans spoke out about the comments he used, with many of them finding them inappropriate. In a response, Nash tweeted for everybody to take a breath and said that he was being sarcastic, which is a coping mechanism for him. Nash added that he appreciates the concern from some fans and spoke about how well they can keep getting updates from TMZ. He has legs to train. We strongly believe that wrestling fans should be more emphatic towards Kevin Nash, who is dealing with one of the biggest losses of his life. Everyone has their own way to cope with hard situations, and we totally endorse Kevin Nash for being strong after having the most horrific year of his life. Royal Rumble news now, as there's plenty of buzz around who could be showing up at next week's event and try and earn a championship match at WrestleMania 39. We've seen plenty of ex-superstars make returns or even one-off appearances at the Rumble over the years, but Chris Masters won't be joining that list. On Twitter, the Masterpiece shared a message with his fans, ruling out being one of the 30 in the men's Rumble match. Sorry to say I haven't been contacted for the Rumble, and I will almost certainly not be taking part at this point. Masters only recently spoke in interviews about hoping for a WWE return and believes he could work a Hurt Lock vs. Master Lock storyline with Bobby Lashley. It was actually Lashley who broke Chris Masters' Master Lock challenge in March 2007, but if this feud ever does happen, it won't start in next week's Men's Rumble match. This week, the wrestling world lost Jay Briscoe, who died tragically in an automobile accident on Tuesday, mere minutes from his home in Delaware. Since then, tributes have poured in for him and messages of support for his wife and 2 daughters, and a tribute show took place after Dynamite and has been shared online. The tribute show did not air on TV, however, unlike when Brody Lee passed away in 2020, and the reason for that rests with AEW's broadcast partners. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer reported that WarnerMedia wanted no part in Briscoe appearing on their programming, even in a tribute show. The reason being is that Briscoe shared some highly controversial views years ago, which caused significant backlash, which also explains why Tony Khan was unable to get them on TV, because WarnerMedia bosses wouldn't allow it. Instead of a big televised event like Brody Lee, Briscoe received a graphic at the start of Dynamite, a mention by Excalibur, and wrestlers wearing armbands bearing his name. Meltzer added that there are plans for more shows to honor Jay Briscoe, which will happen once the ROH Weekly TV show becomes a reality. It was also said that at the upcoming Supercard of Honor event this March, there will be a memorial of some kind on the show, but details as of what that means remain unclear. It's a shame that WarnerMedia would not allow Jay Briscoe's tribute show to be aired on TV, and we can only look ahead to the more fitting tributes to come for the late ROH Hall of Famer. Fans are mourning the loss of a fantastic wrestler, but the Pugh family are mourning the loss of a father, husband, and son. Speaking to NBC's WRDE Coast TV, Jay's mother, Jana Pugh, spoke about her son and praised the wrestler as a provider for his family. He took care of people. He really wanted people to be kind to each other. It was very important to him. If Jamin could see the people that are reaching out and praying because of what's happened to him, he'd feel like, I did reach some people. Jay's neighbor Karen Tucker added that she'll miss him terribly and that he was like a son to her as well with how kind he was. Jay Briscoe left a huge impression on the wrestling world, but he also touched the lives of countless people away from the ring, and our thoughts are with them at this time. Unfortunately for the Pugh family, the vehicular collision that killed Jay Briscoe has severely injured his 2 young daughters, who have to undergo expensive surgery. Not long after the surgery, a friend of the family decided to help out, as Josh Wharton created a donation page for the Pugh family. Initially, the page aimed to reach $50,000, which would be a fantastic help to the Pughs, but the generosity of fans and those who knew Briscoe knows no bounds. At the time of this recording, the fund has reached over $168,000, with more donations coming in from fans and those who know the Pugh family personally. The 2 largest donations have come from the Young Bucks, as Matt and Nick Jackson gave $10,000 each and wrote heartfelt messages about Briscoe. For Matt, he wrote about how he and his brother love and miss Jay, while Nick said that they are praying for the Pugh family and that Jay will be their guardian angel. Cody and Brandy Rhodes also donated $1,000, and with more donations coming in by the minute, it's hoped that this money will at least help out one problem for the Pughs at this unfortunate time. Jay Briscoe never competed on WWE TV, but that didn't stop the company giving their own tribute to the ROH Tag Champion, with Triple H praising him in a tweet. On NXT, which aired the same day he died, Vic Joseph addressed Briscoe's death and offered condolences to his family, but his death had another effect on the show. According to reports, a segment planned for NXT called for the New Day to host a funeral segment, which would have seen the reigning NXT Tag Team Champions dispose of Pretty Deadly's shot at the tag team titles. On Wrestling Observer Radio, it was revealed that WWE only learned about Briscoe's death minutes before the segment was going to begin, and it was immediately scrapped. WWE knew it would be in very bad taste, and it was noted that Shawn Michaels made the call to end the segment. Michaels has been Senior Vice President of Talent Development Creative since September 2022 and is responsible for the creative direction and talent development in NXT, which is why he made that decision in the first place. It was a classy move by WWE to not use this segment after learning of Briscoe's death, and we can only imagine the fallout and backlash from fans had this funeral segment made it to air. Sometimes it's hard to remember that the larger-than-life wrestlers fans see on TV are just characters played by very real people, just like you and me. One name making a name for herself in NXT is Amari Miller, but recently the young superstar opened up about her struggles with mental health. On TikTok, Miller revealed in a video that she attempted to take her own life last week, and the caption read that everything isn't what it seems regarding to her fun character on TV. In that same caption, Miller also wanted to tell fans who are struggling themselves that they are not alone and that she is here for anyone that needs an ear to listen. We don't know the exact circumstances as to why Miller attempted what she did, but it is not our place to know, and all we can do is wish her the best and hope the popular NXT superstar is getting all the support she needs from colleagues, friends, and family.